Hey, y'all. Welcome to your favorite podcast in the world.
One you wait for every Tuesday.
This one's a little bit later this Tuesday, so they've probably been waiting all day.
Yeah, by the computer.
I
just
imagine
hitting
y'all,
refresh.
I apologize that you've probably just been sitting there waiting all day. But we're here now, ready to discuss this week's sermon.
Yes.
And politics and all the things that the
Whatever
world
you
needs.
need. Whatever you need. You find it at this is an all-encompassing podcast.
I hope y'all are doing well. We are gonna do a quick recap of Sunday's sermon first. Here's some reactions from you all, and discuss a resource that you all may or may not know about that you have access to if you go to Connection Point Church. So let's just start off with a recap. Sunday.
All right. We did the end of Luke chapter 7, and it was Jesus goes into Simon the Pharisee's house, and there's a woman that walks in and just starts worshiping him. She wets his feet with her tears, begins to just worship at his feet and anoints his feet and is very humble. And Jesus looks and probably says the greatest line in the entire Bible. In verse 48 of chapter 7, he says, "Your sins are forgiven." And so the main idea of the sermon was either you're trying to fit Jesus into your life, or you're like this woman who she was trying to fit her life into Jesus. Jesus was the point, and she just wanted to get near and worship him. And so that's hopefully the main takeaway for most of us was that we see areas where we try to fit Jesus into our life. And really, if you want to get the most out of this life, you have to give up your life. You have to go all in with Jesus.
All right.
There you go.
It was good. If you haven't watched the sermon yet, y'all should. You can do that at any point on our app or Facebook or YouTube. So y'all feel free to check that out if you haven't seen the full version yet. Let's go ahead and get some crowd reactions here. We have two interviewers now who are going around on Sunday after church. If you see them going around, maybe you even approach them next Sunday and say, "Hey,
I loved it. I've got a lot to say about it.
I got something to say." Or, "I love the podcast. Can I be on the podcast?"
There you go.
I'm sure they would love that. So here's our first one right here. It looks like we've got Kevin Botsford.
Hey, it's me, Hudson Williams, with
Kevin Botsford.
And I'll be asking him the question, what stood out to you from today's sermon?
Yeah, so today's sermon regarding Jesus at the Pharisee's house, I think with Joel's point of we have like a honeymoon phase with our faith where, we are all on fire at the beginning and then it can kind of fall off over time. Just kind of how you talked about Simon the Pharisee. So just really hit home for me today to make sure that we're continuing to be on fire and faithful for God. So that was what stood out to me today.
All right, that's cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that's true for us all, that we all kind of get that honeymoon phase, whether it be in a marriage. Obviously, that's where the honeymoon idea comes from, but we see it all in a lot of relationships, and it's most dangerous, I think, with our relationship with God. So it's good to call it out, to know it.
Absolutely. Our premarital counselors called it love crack. They said at the very beginning,
Okay.
you're on what's like a drug. It's like love crack, and eventually you need more, and you find yourself wanting something different or something more. I think it's
Love crack.
Yeah.
All right.
It can relate with our relationship with Jesus. All right. Have that stage of love crack at first. Okay, let's get another reaction here.
Hi, it's me, Hudson Williams, with
Megan Williams, your mother.
and I'll be asking her, what stood out to you from today's sermon?
I love this story. So we were in Luke 7 today. You heard it too. And I think I can tend to forget how much I've been forgiven. And so I love being reminded that God saved me like completely and fully, and that allows me to love people more and to be quick to forgive. And so just that reminder that we always need the reminder that we've been saved by grace and the gospel impacts us every time. So that's what I got out of it. It was very good.
All right, thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. How about that?
Yeah, thanks, Mom. Yeah, and that's good. I think, again, that was one of the things as I was preparing of, it's really easy to think ourselves better than we actually are. And I think that's what Simon does in the story. And so, we kind of put ourselves in Simon's place and see, man, he's missing out on Jesus and the opportunity to love well because he doesn't think he has been forgiven well.
Okay, let's keep this moving. We've got a reaction from Daniel Montgomery here.
All right.
Hi, I'm Cooper Botsford, and I'm with.
Daniel Montgomery.
And today I'm going to be asking him, what stood out to you from today's sermon?
For me, the part that stuck out the most was when he talked about how we approach Christ is how our relationship is with him. And just kind of challenging us to think about who we are in the story. Are we more like the woman, or are we approaching God more like the Pharisee and just not fully trusting and being humble to him?
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a good one too.
I think Cooper's leaning into that role as the interviewer. I like it.
Yeah, I think Daniel's point, though, is how we approach Jesus. We don't really think about that all the time, of the fact that we are coming into the presence of God when we go to worship, when that we know God is everywhere, but we take that when we intentionally go to worship, sometimes we have that mentality of, all right, how can I fit this into my schedule, whether it's our worship time in the morning or whether it's at church or wherever it is. And so I do think that's another, glad he got that out of it. That's good.
Absolutely. He is the point.
That's right.
That's a strong point there. All right, last one here.
Hi, it's me, Hudson Williams, with my bud.
Cooper Botsford.
And I'll be asking him, what stood out to you from today's sermon?
So what stood out for me for the sermon today was how we need to make sure that Jesus fits into our lives and not how our lives fit into Jesus.
That's great, Coop. Thanks for sharing.
All right, I don't know which one I like best, the fact that Cooper said it backwards or the fact that Hudson confirms and
That's
didn't
great.
listen
That's
to
great.
a word he said. But yes, I know what Cooper meant. That was the main idea. He said it wrong, but I know in his heart he knew that we don't fit Jesus into our lives. We are, Jesus is the point. And so he's not a part of our lives. He's the point of our lives. So I know what Cooper means. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Hudson, on the other hand, I think needs to be called out for not listening after asking the question.
Yeah,
So
he's just saying that's great no matter what.
he's just doing the,
In one ear and out the other. We'll have an interviewing conversation.
But I
do
did
some
like the
fine-tuning.
energy that he brought there.
It
My
was,
bud.
yeah.
I liked it. Okay. They're getting there. That's good.
They are. We love getting these reactions and look forward to more. I would encourage y'all to take some notes during this Sunday's sermon. Maybe even take a note that you have in mind. Hey, if I was gonna answer that question of what stood out to me in today's sermon, you could just pull up this note card and say, I know what it was.
Yeah.
Good, healthy strategy there. Actually, what's cool is I looked over to my left today, and we need to discuss your eye in a minute. I just noticed
I get in fights sometimes, and y'all know this about me.
We need to have a talk with Erica.
I got in a fight yesterday.
Okay.
I won the fight. You'll be
right.
happy to know. Whether you believe that or not, I don't care.
I'll reach out to Erica and see what her perspective is. But I looked to my left this Sunday and saw this whole group of middle school youth. And they all had their Bibles open. They were taking notes. It was cool to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Any other notes or comments about
About the sermon?
sermon?
Nope. I'm loving Luke, so
Me too.
that's going to be
I am
the title. That's what we should have called it.
Loving Luke. Yes. I do love the brand of he is. I like seeing each week who this different
Yeah.
perspective of who God is. Okay, we're gonna close it out by discussing a resource. Joel is bringing a resource forward today that most of y'all probably know you have access to, but you might not. And
Yeah, especially if you're new. I don't even know. We need to do a better job. But every member of our church or attender of our church can have a free account with Right Now Media, which is kind of like the Netflix of Bible study. But they've also got conferences on there. They've got just videos videos, any type of video curriculum. I use it sometimes to prepare for messages, but also a lot of times just for leadership. In fact, one of the things they've started doing is doing live webinars. And so I've got on there and just started listening to some theological webinars. So there's so much good stuff. What I'm going to do, I think this week, is I'm going to curate what our people are watching. And so I'm actually going to have a row where you can look and see what is the most watched by people in our church. But if you don't have one, you can actually, I'll put it on our app this week so that you'll be able to get a free membership, and you'll also be able to see what our people are doing on right now.
Yeah, it is. There are tons of different people that lead discussions, and I use it for when I'm going through a book of the Bible. I can just look up, hey, study of James or something like that, and there you can find at least 5 or 6 on.
Yeah, and they've always
book.
got great preachers going through. I think David Platt's going through Jonah right now is one of their new ones, so they're always adding stuff to it.
Y'all check it out. It's rightnowmedia.com
or org. I don't know.
Something like that.
I'll have a link on the
Google
app.
Right Now Media.
Yeah.
We'll post a link too. How about that? Make it real easy on you. That's all we got. We'll keep adding to this. Y'all feel free to let us know if you've got any thoughts or ideas. And other than that, we'll see you on Sunday.